Today, let's look at this handstand entry, starting on the knees and going up to handstand. We're going to use it to help us with the press handstand. So to start with, we need the jump version, then we're just going to slow it down. Now there's 3 different variations of the kneeling version. So I'm going to go kneeling position, thumbs by the knees. I'm going to open up, and then I could pass through tuck to handstand. I could do exactly the same, pass through straddle to handstand. Or I could keep the legs straight, whoops, not like that. Could keep the legs straight and go through a pike. That was not pretty. Let's pretty that up in a second. But they're the 3 versions. So we have the tuck, the straddle, and the pike. Now I'm purposely showing this with back to wall, so we've got the safety of the wall while we're learning. But exactly the same movement can be done freestanding, going up, through tuck. Make sure I don't kick the wall. Let's go further away. Do the straddle. Kick the wall. And then the pike. Struggling with that one today. So how can that one help us with our press handstand? So what we need to do to start with is transfer weight. So at the moment I've got 100% weight in my legs. I want to transfer as much weight into my hands, my upper back and my shoulders. So I'm going to put my thumbs by my knees. I'll externally rotate the hands a little bit, just to going to help me to go up and forwards with the movement. From there I'm going to extend the legs, which pushes me up and forwards. Now here in this position, I'm lighter on my toes. So I have much more weight into my hands and my upper back. Now what a lot of people do in this movement is they push backwards like a down dog. So now all my weight's back in my feet. We want to do the opposite movement. So I want to go up all the weight into the upper back, shoulders and arms, and decrease the weight back out. Now if you don't have the flexibility there, you're going to have to keep the knees a little bit bent, or even bend the arms a touch. But you'll get the idea, you'll get that same movement, and it just means that your press handstand is not going to look so pretty and be so stacked. It's going to be a bit more closed and use a little bit more strength to get up. And once we have that position down and we can increase the weight forwards into the upper back and shoulders and hands, then we can start to play with the jump. We want to think about stacking. So if my hands are here, my shoulders are on top of my hands, when I get up to that position, the next thing I want to do is with the jump is to get enough momentum and power from the knees and the hips opening that fires me up into the handstand. Now it's going to fire me up. So we want the hip to land on top of the shoulder. A lot of people to start with will fire the hip over there, which just sends them backwards. So it'll look like this. Or they'll send their head forwards, which I'm not going to show you because it means my head is going to hit the wall. So we want to think about going straight up. Now if you're nervous about this, or if you want to just slowly build up, we just want to go up high, come back to our feet. And then over time, get the hip higher, until eventually you can go all the way up. At the top you could split your legs and find the wall, or you could just land in that straight position if you have good handstand balance. And then once we have that in the tuck position, in the straddle position or the pike, we can start to slow it down. So as I come up, my feet come off and I go up into handstand. Now that was more or less a press, maybe just using a little bit of momentum from the spring of the legs and the hips opening to help me up. Now if you are closer to the press handstand, or you have a press handstand already, then you can go right down with that dial and just play around with lifting up very, very slow into your handstand. But if you struggle there, all we're going to do is just turn the dial up a little bit and see what happens. So just go a little bit faster, see if you can get up. If you don't, turn the dial up just a little bit further until you find you can get up. And then over time, aim to slow it down a little bit more. As your confidence, your strength and your conditioning goes up, you're going to get closer and closer to the slow, oh that pike is not easy today, slower movement into the handstand. Now bonus points, whenever you get up into handstand, whether it's against the wall or freestanding, I would add in a slow eccentric to whichever version you're doing, back down to the kneeling position, because it's all about time under tension. So the more time under tension we can have throughout that range of motion, per set, per session, the more progress you should make. And then once you've unlocked one of them, you can do the straddle maybe, do the straddle on the way back down, see if you can do the tuck. And then if you're stronger than I am today, Oh, geez. You might get the pike. Check out my app in the description if you're after programs for any of these skills. Drop any questions down in the comments and I'll speak to you next time. Thanks, guys.